Gunslinger Sports here. I'm James. This is Steve. Coming to you from the field at the Cotton Bowl for the ZAXBY'S Heart of Dallas Bowl today. This is going to be the 5th Heart of Dallas Bowl here at the Cotton Bowl. You know, formerly known as Stickler City Bowl. And we're long overdue for a good one here in the Cotton Bowl. It seems like the last thriller we had here was the 2011 game between Texas Tech and Northwestern.
Yep.
And since that, the last three have been probably some of the worst blowouts in bowl games of the whole correct bowl season that you can have here and everything. But let's not forget, man, this Illini team made it, you know. And, you know, we got to see if it's them being 6-6 and this is a start for them going forward next year, or if it was just a fluke that they made this bowl. And then you also got Louisiana Tech that made it. And this Louisiana Tech team, you know, since becoming a Division I school, they want to prove that they can be a powerhouse to be reckoned with in the Conference USA.
I agree, and it's been a strange couple of years for Louisiana Tech. After passing on its chance at a bowl game despite going 9-3 in 2012, you had Northern Illinois going up to BCS, kind of screwing things up a little bit, but we're all done with that BCS madness, thank God. And you know, they went 4-8 last year, kind of missed out on anything, a little bit of a down year. But you know, it's been a moment in just, you know, the 7th bowl ever for Louisiana Tech. The Bulldogs, you know, went to a few Independence Bowl games in the 70s, which is just right in their backyard, kind of favorable for them. But you know, they have gone, you know, 3 in the 2000s, and they go 2 and 3 and 1 all time. So you know, there's not exactly a rich history, you would say, to go off in this matter. But after starting, you know, 2 and 3 this year, you know, it kind of looks like they're bottoming out. You know, not much to play for. But they lost to Northwestern State. The Bulldogs got their offense, you know, moving around. Their defense was a terror against the run, and they came up with a 5-game winning streak and took, you know, 6 or 7 games to the Conference USA Championship. You know, they had their chances in the 26-23 loss to Marshall, who was one of the unbeaten teams there at the end of the year.
Close to them.
Yeah, but if you know, if they lose to the Illini, you know, they'll close out, you know, losing 3 of their last 4 games.
Right, and you know, this is a Louisiana Tech team that won 8 games this year on their season. They've also beat 5 bowl-eligible teams through that 8 wins they had this season. But you know, there's no explanation for these early season losses the Bulldogs had. They blew a game to an FCS foe in Northwestern State, losing it, and then the Bulldogs also blew a 10-point lead in the 4th quarter. And their conference record had a chance of being affected with it when they had an embarrassing loss in overtime to Old Dominion. Illinois is one of the bowl season shockers this year. You know, they started at 3-1 on the season, and they lost 5 of their last 6 games, or 5 of the last 6 games after that, to basically have a late run to make it into the bowl season. You know, they had that awkward play where they won on the fumble return in Minnesota and everything, and then at the end of the year, needing wins against Penn State and Northwestern, they were able to get it done. You know, Tim Beckham, he got another year to try to get this program going and everything, so maybe the spotlight can be taken off of him, and we can get a little bit more of an advantage taken on this team going forward on this next few things.
Yeah, I agree fully with this late season push like that. It's obviously making himself look pretty good.
Yeah, definitely it is, you know. But, you know, they're only 8-9 all-time in bowl games, and they've won 4 of their last 6 with 2 losses in BCS games. Going in the 2002 Sugar Bowl to LSU.
Yes.
And then USC, they got beat in the 2008 Rose Bowl. But this is going to be the first bowl game for the Illini since beating UCLA in 2011 in a bowl I don't even think I've heard of, called the Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl.
Might have been a 1-year bowl.
That's right. But, you know, with the win over Louisiana Tech today, this Illini team, they can put themselves forward for doing something, hopefully, in the Big Ten next year.
Something to build on.
Exactly.
And you know, one player to talk about here is Kenneth Dixon, you know, the running back for Louisiana Tech. He's the best running back that no one is talking about, hands down. You know, the junior started out his career with 27 rushing scores and had, you know, struggled last year a little bit with 917 yards. May have been, you know, a product of the offensive line and the system at the time. But, you know, for this year, you know, he ripped off 1,200 yards. He's got 21 touchdowns, and the only really bad game he had was first game of the year against Oklahoma. And while you go up against a powerhouse like Oklahoma, they schedule your first game of the year, you don't really, you know.
You don't really do anything.
Yeah. So it's just another game. You know, and one thing the Illini needs to do here, their biggest problem against Louisiana Tech is their chains moving forward here. You keep these chains moving. You know, we talk about Louisiana Tech, you know, their run defense is pretty good here. The Illini needs to step up their rushing attack. They need to move the ball. Play action, I think, will be working to a big play here.
That's right.
Yes, and time of possession should also hold the ball, you know, well over 33 minutes. The Illini does not come out hot. You know, they need to work on these kind of things.
They do need to do that. You know, but you got to think something else too. See, this Illini team, they're used to facing good running backs coming from the Big Ten. You know, they've got Melvin Gordon,
the rushing attack at Ohio State.
They've got Cobb that's over there, and where's Cobb at? David Cobb, Minnesota,
yes.
Minnesota, we saw him this year. I couldn't think about that one. And then you also got to think of Abdullah they got in Nebraska, which is not too bad of a back. Really good running back. But I mean, I know the question is what's going to happen today. You know, who's going to come to this game? Which team's going to bring the fire and look sharp when it comes out here? You know, Louisiana Tech might have the best overall numbers, and it might be able to pull on off enough talent to pull it off and get hot early, like I was talking about. against these Power 5 teams on the slate for this team. You know, Illinois isn't Oklahoma or Auburn at all. You know? And you got to look for it to be a battle tested, and they should wear down the Bulldogs with a little bit more of the depth they have on their bench and stuff like that. Illinois, they don't have a ton of talent. This team doesn't really, but they are a Power 5 conference school team. You know, so they do have that depth as we talked about. And the question is, you know, what's going to happen with the Big Ten this year? You know, this is going to be the Big Ten's first bowl game of the season. This is also Conference USA's last bowl game of the season. So it's going to really set up for a good match.
Good measuring sticks here with these two conferences.
Anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here?
I really just look forward to seeing Kenneth Dixon, see if Illinois can slow him down and all, and see how this is going to play out. And if Illinois can slow him down any bit whatsoever, hold him under 100 yards, keep him with no touchdowns, and really work out to Illini's favor here.
All right, peace. We'll see you all later.